Welcome to another episode of Toot Your Own Horn Music Matters. I am here with the wonderful Cecilia Serra from Spain. How exciting to have you.
Thank you for having me, Lisa.
I'm
I'm very happy.
I'm so happy to have you, and I can't wait for you to tell our audience your story about how you chose your instrument. How did it all begin?
It began at home. My parents were musical, both. My father was my first music teacher. He played piano, and my mother played guitar, and both worked in the conservatory in Tarragona, in the city where I grew up. And yes, I began to learn music at home, the so-called solfeggio that we learn here in Spain, to sing and read music without instrument, only singing the name of the notes. And I learned it at home before I started my official studies in the conservatory. At home, I learned also guitar with my mother. And I can say that my first concert where I was on the guitar when I was 5 years old.
Oh my
Yes. And then I began when I was 8 years old in the conservatory, because in Spain we can begin in the conservatory in a very early age. And I began to study piano with my father. But the year after, I was in an audition, in a recital with other peers of the conservatory, and I listened to a duet from Mozart, a Kegel duet, and I found the sound of the two clarinets so beautiful that I told my father that I wanted to play clarinet, and they bought me a clarinet, a buffet. It was my first clarinet, and then I began to learn clarinet also, piano and clarinet.
Oh my goodness. Did you experience the physical form of the instrument, or did you just hear it?
I saw the instrument, but I can't remember that it. I, I didn't pay attention to the form of the instrument, only to the sound. It was really the sound that liked me so much, and I found it so beautiful. And still nowadays, I think two clarinets at a time is the most beautiful sound in the world.
Oh my goodness gracious. That is awesome that happened. What happened from there? What was next?
Next was that I finished my studies in Tarragona in the conservatory. I studied also singing because I was very curious about singing, because my clarinet teacher said me, you must play like if you were singing. And I didn't sing so bad, but I didn't know exactly what they mean. And I decided to study singing a little bit to have a better image of this comparison between clarinet and singing. And from then to until now, singing is the model that I have to imagine my sound, or to imagine how I'm going to play the piece I'm studying and I'm performing in every moment.
That is a very advanced technique for a young person because I learned to sing, to play the clarinet better in college when I was at the university. So that's amazing that you did that so early on. That's great.
Yes, it was like this. It is like this in Spain, that the music is not much involved in the schools. Uh, we have, for children until 13, 15 years old, they have 1 hour per week uh, music in the school, in the normal schools, so to say. But there are no choirs, there are not bands or music lessons, group music lessons, or wind ensembles or so. And if you want to study music in Spain, you must go to a music school, or to take private lessons, or to go to the conservatory, where they teach also the young kids. Yes.
Hmm. Why do you think that why it didn't take a root in the schools in the same way? Why is that?
I'm not sure. I think, at least in Spain, they do not give so much importance to arts. They say they are important, but the fact is that they are not integrated in the schools. And if you want to learn art or to practice art, whatever it is, drawing, painting, music, or dancing, you must go to another school to learn. And it's
Wow.
not so. I don't know the why, but it's like this.
Yeah.
It
So
was
when
like this, and it is like this now. No.
Yeah, so when you started, was it a conclusion immediately that you would continue because your parents were both musically inclined? Was it sort of for sure you're going to do
Yes.
something?
Yes, it went well. My studies went well. Yes, I enjoyed to practice. I enjoyed to play, and I had never had the idea of studying something else.
Hmm, that's really interesting. And so you were good at other things though, but you went on then to conservatory from when you got done with high school. Is that true?
Yes. When I finished in Tarragona, in my city, I went to the high conservatory. We say it like this in Barcelona. Sure, you know Barcelona, and there I studied the high degree, and then I took my clarinet, and I traveled to Vienna in Austria to study a little bit more there. I was there 4 years or so, studying in the university and with Horst Hayek. Is the name of my teacher who passed away a few years ago. And he was a soloist in the Vienna Philharmonic.
Oh, wow.
And it was because my teacher, one of my teachers in Spain, in Valencia, Valencia is a city in the Mediterranean coast, in the south of Barcelona, 400 kilometers south from Barcelona. And Valencia is the place in Spain where more tradition with wind bands.
Ah, right.
And there are so many fantastic musicians and clarinetists there. And I was lucky enough to have private lessons with a soloist of the orchestra in Valencia. And he studied also in Vienna with Alfred Prinz. And yeah, it was my dream because it was the way he explained the music, the way he imagined the sound of the clarinet, was very Viennese, this
Yeah.
traditional Viennese sound, and it was my dream, and I could accomplish this dream.
Awesome. And so your
4 years.
was your goal to play in the orchestra?
No, in Vienna. Do you mean in Vienna?
Yeah, well, when at that point in your life, what was the goal of you playing? What were you hoping to do?
Yes, I understand. Lista, I did not have never the wish to play in an orchestra. I played auditions to learn, but I don't like to be conducted by by another person because I have my own ideas, and if I don't like the ideas of the conductor, I don't feel well. And of course, I have played in orchestras, and nowadays I'm a freelance clarinetist, and I play in orchestras when needed. But I don't enjoy it so much as when I make my own projects, chamber music, or with basset horn trio that they have, or with my pianist. I don't enjoy playing in orchestra so much. I like it, but I prefer chamber music or making my own projects.
So how have you made your living being involved in music?
When I moved to Madrid, I live now in Madrid, in the center of Spain. I began to teach in several conservatories. But the system for the people who doesn't have a fixed position is to work every year, every term in another conservatory. And it was good for a while because I could have this experience and to learn how to teach and to know other clarinetists and musicians in Madrid. But this problem of being every year in another place didn't give me a perspective if my system of teaching works or not. And 2018, I decided to be a freelance teacher and clarinetist. I leave this system of teaching in conservatories, and I founded my own studio. I that I now have at home. I have a very nice room with my piano and my books and my notes. And I have my own studio at home. Then I play in several projects, own projects or projects of friends of mine. And yes.
You told me when we first spoke that it was not very common in Spain to have a studio, like a teaching studio.
Yes. This entrepreneurship that I think from here, I think I see in the United States, that's so big, and people have perhaps more initiative, or it's more normal. It's not like this in Spain. We wait in Spain that someone call us to work in a school or in a conservatory. Or we don't have this initiative. We have not learned it in the school. And yes, when I decided to have this studio, I didn't have a mirror. I was the first person I knew that had a clarinet studio, private clarinet studio at home. And yes, it was a little bit strange, and to try things if it works, to be known, and also to change the students in the conservatory. We usually have kids from 8 to 18, but at home they are not coming to me at home. I teach mostly adults, and it's another way to teach. Has so many good things to see how music and clarinet can help to develop the develop the personality and the way of seeing the world. And I am so happy when some of my students send me videos playing for the grandsons and granddaughters, and at home, or teaching the things they learn with me, with the children that they have at home. It's so beautiful to realize how music is a part of their lives, not as a professional thing, not with this goal, but the goal to be involved with music and to develop themselves with music.
Yeah. And how did you build your studio? How did you get the word out?
I built my studio physically, I mean, and we bought a very beautiful.
Meaning, how did you find your students? How did you find them?
I have my website. When I write some posts about pedagogic things about clarinet embouchure, breathing, and methods, also about books about clarinet. And many people are writing to me to study with me, and so the studio is growing. And also, it's very nice to see how students of mine live near my house, and they explain neighbors that they study clarinet here, and then they come also because they want to learn clarinet also with me. And this sense of community, the people that lives around me, it's also very beautiful to contribute to give things to the people who are living near here. And this is the way I build the studio. Simply, yes, I try to offer things, interesting things, or things that at least are interesting to me, to share it in my website, in my blog. and also in YouTube. I have a YouTube channel, and people see it, and many times, yes, they call me or they write to me. And nowadays I can say I have 24 students. It's not bad. It's
Wow.
not bad. Yes, and yes, so it's how I have made it.
And is your family musical?
Yes, my father and my mother were musical.
But your own family?
Have my own family. No, my husband is a mathematician. That's nothing to do with music. My son, who is already 18 years old, he has learned saxophone and violin. Nowadays he's not playing so much, but sometimes he takes the violin and plays a little bit, and saxophone and so on. And my daughter, who is 13 years old, he tried to learn a little bit piano and violin, but music is not for her. Her relation with music is only to listen to music and then more modern music and so. But yes, they are musical in a way, but no playing or not wanting to be professional. So
It's great, although it's always wonderful if they choose music, it's great to allow them to be who they are.
yes, I had very clear in my mind when I had them to give the music, but what you say, to give them the opportunity to live the music in the way they want, not the way I want.
Right.
To be free and to enjoy the music.
Yeah.
Form they prefer.
Yeah, that's awesome. If somebody was listening to this and really interested in your story, what would you tell them to inspire them to try to play a wind instrument?
To play a wind instrument, for me at least, is to find another voice. It comes from your body directly. I always say to my students that the clarinet doesn't do anything, that you do things. And then clarinet helps you to sound. But yes, you must to do things. And a wind instrument, I think, above string instruments or piano or so, helps you to know yourself better, because you have to breathe with the instrument, not only to survive, but also for playing music, for phrasing, to shape the sound. And it gives you so much information about yourself.
So there you have it. If you want to learn more about yourself, play a wind instrument. Thank you so much for doing this. Your story is so beautiful and you are such an inspiration. I would hope that many people will follow you because private studios in the States are just so popular. It's a very common thing. Now you should write a book for your people on on how to inspire people to play and be involved.
Yes, I have many ideas. The time to write, I don't have this time, but I enjoy so much to write for my blog and I'm so happy when people write to me saying that I have helped them to see things more clear. It's very nice.